Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. Having some technical difficulties. I had a nice opening I was going to play for you, and it's not, the video is not loading. Just let me click it again here to see if we can. Well, I guess we're not going to have the video open. I edited a nice video open with some music and everything over the past week, and I guess it's just not going to play for us. I've got a whole bunch of videos to play for you tonight too. I hope it's not going to happen with all of them, but I thank you for joining me. And before we get started, I've just got a few things to take care of. Number one, if you can see my face and if you can hear my voice, please leave a message. Leave a comment that you can hear me and see my voice, see my face. Glenn Wallace, how you doing, Glenn? Mark Macy, Buffalo, New York. And Steve Dickinson, yes, that's my friend Steve Dickinson from Berlin, New Hampshire. Steve has some beautiful sleds. I'd like to have Steve on here live one night on his cell phone. In fact, I'm going to have an offline conversation with him perhaps this coming week to see if he'd like to come on live with a cell phone and show us his man cave with some beautiful sleds. Also, we've got Jack Ulch and Mark Macy. Mark Macy's waiting for his friend Tim, I think. But well, good. I'm glad we get some people on here. Let's move this thing along here. Let's look at the program. Let me navigate to the program. Okay, this is firing at least. As you can see, I've got a whole evening's worth of entertainment lined up here for you. Can't wait to get started. Before we do, I just want to tell you that we are simulcasting on several entities. Most of you are probably watching this on the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers Facebook page. I thank you for being a part of that page. It is the largest community of vintage snowmobile enthusiasts anywhere, Facebook or otherwise. Over 50,000 fans on that page. So I thank you if you're viewing it on that page. This podcast is also simulcasting on the Wheels, Keels, and Snowmobiles Facebook group. Now, this is a group where you can view and post anything with the motor. Cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, snowmobiles, anything with the motor. There's a link to this Facebook group in the description. Also, we're simulcasting on the Wheels, Keels, and Snowmobiles YouTube channel. If you like videos about cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, snowmobiles, that's the place for you. There's a link in the description. Click on that, and you can take a look at those videos. And before we get to the first video, I wanted to let you know that I am looking for an advertiser, and I'm offering a cash reward to anyone who can bring me or introduce me to someone who could potentially be an advertiser on this program. So if you know someone who either offers a product or a service that would be of interest to vintage snowmobile enthusiasts, I'm offering a cash reward of either $50 or $100. That would depend on the size of the marketing package that the advertiser signs up for. That would account for the size of the reward. Also, if you are the advertiser, you can take that reward in the form of a discount. So let's get started with the program here. Lining up my first video. Let me just get to the right spot here. Now, I'm hoping, since that video that I just played for you a moment ago, since that video didn't play, I'm not sure what's going to happen when I click this video. If not, this will probably be a very short podcast, and we'll pick it up again next week, and I'll offer my apology on that. But let's click here and see if we can take a look at this first video. This is a video given to me a couple of years ago by Dan Cunningham. He went to the Novi, Michigan Vintage Snowmobile show, and he brought back some really nice footage. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's all cross our fingers in unison here. Let's hope this video plays when I click on it. Let's see what happens. And it's not happening. This isn't stressful. I hate when this happens. I really do. I had some nice videos all queued up here to play for you tonight, and they are not playing. I do have a backup plan, though, so don't go anywhere. I just have to rearrange my... It just take me a second to queue these up manually. Let's do exactly that. And bear with me, folks. I will have that video here for you. This is from the Novi, Michigan Vintage Snowmobile show from a couple of years ago. Dan Cunningham shared this footage with me, and I'm queuing it up. Let me get into this screen here. I have to do this all manually instead of doing it a click of the button, but your patience will be rewarded. I see the angry face, and I apologize, but it is coming. Here we go. All right, stand back, folks. We're going to have the video. Let me crank up the audio. Here we go. Let me know how the audio is on this, if you would, if you can hear my voice. It's just music, but let me know how the audio is. Okay, there you have it. That was the video from Novi, Michigan, the Vintage Snowmobile show out there. Thank you, and shout out to our friend Dan Cunningham, who shared that footage with me a couple of years ago. So let's take a look here and see what's on the agenda here. Next, we have show and tell. Now, these are images that were shared from viewers. Now, let's take a look at the first one. This was shared by Brandon Farmer. Now, he has got a 1968 Caribou Snowmobile, and he has more questions than answers at this point. He's wondering if anyone knows what this is worth and knows any details about this as far as the origin, the manufacturer, any of that. It looks to me like this is almost like a twin track, almost like a skid steer. Looking at the image, can anyone confirm that? Whether or not that's the case. Let me go back into the comments here, see if anyone's got... So no one's commenting on it yet, but let me get back into the other screen. Here's some other pictures of this 1968 Caribou from Brendan Farmer. If anyone knows anything about this or knows what something like this could be worth, I've got a handful of images that he sent me on this. He is looking for some feedback, and hopefully he's on here tonight. So Brandon, if you're on here tonight, just monitor the comments here, and hopefully some folks will have some information about this this Caribou. Yeah, that looks to me like it's a twin track, almost a kind of a skid steer sort of operation. If anyone can confirm that or deny that, if it's not the case, let us know what you think on that. I'll go through these pictures of this Caribou, and then I've got a couple of other show and tell snowmobiles I want to show you. Also, what does anyone know about the engine in this? This is one of those storage boxes under the seat. How many people remember those storage boxes under the seats of those old snowmobiles from the late 60s and early 70s? I know a lot of people had those. That was the ice fisherman's dream back in the day to have one of those boxes. No worries, Josh. We've also got Mark Macy on here, Bob Gedford, Tom Belzeal, Daryl Swallows, Paul Bilodeau from Gonick, New Hampshire. We've got Frank Falcone from Texas, the great state of Texas. Don Kerr from Calgary, Alberta. Mark Whitney, Washington State. Greg Burns, yes, he says we have good audio and video. Excellent, excellent. Let's go back into the photos here. One more shot of this Caribou. And if anyone knows what something like this might be worth in that condition, and also any details about it, please add them in the comments. Add your information that you know about this in the comments. And let's move on now to a couple of other show and tell sleds. And if you would like to share images of your sled, or if you have videos or anything that you think you'd like to have on the program here, you can see my email address on the bottom of the screen. That is where to send anything that you'd like me to share on this program. This is very much a interactive sharing sort of program, so please share anything that you have, and I'll air it on future podcasts. So let's look at some other slides. This is an image that was shared by Chris Beal, some early 70s ski-doos. And if anyone knows anything about a ski-doo like this, I believe Chris is on here. So as I'm showing these images, please say, hey, Chris, give a shout out to Chris in the comments. It's nice that this is interactive, and it's a way to thank the people who share these images. So this is Chris Beal's ski-doos. Next, we've got some snow twisters, and I apologize that banner is on the top of that. This is from Dave DeVow. Now the snow twister on the left to me looks like it might be a 76. I'm not an expert on snow twisters, but I think that's a 76. The one to the right of it, what do you guys think? Is that earlier than 76 or later than 76? My guess is maybe earlier, but I really don't know. I'm not a connoisseur or an expert on Mercuries. What do you guys think in the comments? What year do you think each of these is? The one on the left, the one on the right? And that's just a guess, by the way. The one on the left, I think it might. I'm guessing that it's a 76. Let me get back into the comments here, see what. Okay, so Wyman Frisk thanks $250 for that Caribou. Kevin Hood loves those twisters. Any other comments about these twisters or any of these other ones here? I've got a few more images supplied by viewers. This one's from Donnie McManus. This is an old Harley Davidson. And again, if you've got images or videos, anything you'd like for me to share on this program, that email address at the bottom of the screen is where to send it. vintagesnowmobilelovers@gmail.com. I'm going to let that scroll by one more time, and I've got a couple of more sleds. And this means a whole lot of jumping around in the program to do this. But okay, here's some more sleds. This was supplied from, I'm assuming someone from Quebec, Natalie Daoust Etienne Chartrand. I'm supposed to be a French Canadian, and even that's a tough one for me. But interestingly enough, French was my first language, and then I lost it when they put me out with English-speaking kids. So I lost most of my French. But that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look at another image. Here's from Norm Heyman. Got an early 70s ski-doo in the front, and that looks like a early to mid 70s Panther in the back, maybe a 73 to 75 Panther in the back there. We've got a Snowjet from Rene Kaya. Or is it Rainy Kaya? Something tells me Rainey's from Quebec as well. Nice Snowjet. And we just got a couple of more here. We've got an image from RJ Midyat. A ski-doo, probably an Olympic in the foreground. Looks like it might be a Johnson and Elan in the background, and a Suzuki maybe a Chaparral behind it. And one last show and tell before we get on to the next video. This is from Russ Edelberg, a Suzuki. So as we're watching this, please give a shout out in the comments to the guys who shared these images. It's a great way to thank them. I hope they're on here tonight. I know some of them mentioned they might be, and I wanted to thank them for that. And thank them for sending it. And again, if you have images or videos or anything you'd like for me to have on this program, right on your screen there is the email address of where to send that. And I'm going to close out the show and tell part of the program. We're going to move on now to the next part of the program. This is a video of Joe Brunet at the Lisbon Snowmobile races in Lisbon, New Hampshire. And again, these videos are not firing, or well, actually, let me try. If you can bear with me, I want to see if it'll fire in the program I'm using. And if it doesn't, I'll do it manually. It's not. So let's load this up manually.
Yeah, hi, my name's Joe Brunet. We're racing here in Lisbon, New Hampshire today. Got a 340 Ski-Doo here, 603. Got some sponsors, Vermont, Timeout Tavern, Lego Snowboards, and Southampton.
Okay, it's loading, but it's choking. So my computer has not been running that great today, so I think that's got something to do with it. So I'm going to load this video up manually. And it'll take a second. Thank you for your patience on this. You can hear it, but you can't see it yet. It's coming. I just have to do this manually, and there's a few steps. Okay, here we go. Without further delay, here is Joe Brunet.
Hi, my name's Joe Brunet. We're racing here in Lisbon, New Hampshire today. Got a 340 Ski-Doo here, 603. Got some sponsors, Vermont, Timeout Tavern, Lego Snowboards, in Southampton, New Hampshire. We got Prince Road Bait and Tackle in Salisbury, Mass. And WJ Brunet Landscape Construction.
Nice.
We're just going to got a beautiful track here, and we're going to give it hell.
Good. How about these other sleds? Any thoughts on these? Or?
These are all restored, and they're all just ready to go. This one here is probably the fastest sled up here, and that's a 340. And then the one next to it, these are first and second place sleds in the qualifier. And I'm not sure where Jason ended up. I think he was third here. A lot of competition here today. Perfect day, perfect weather. Where's Kenny Miller? We need an interview for the vintage.
Jason was second.
Second, my bad.
Sure. Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
All right, go vintage.
Are these yours? No.
Okay, there you have it. Thank you for patience on that. I have to load all of these manually, but let's see what's next here on the program, on the agenda, so to speak. Number 4 is where we're at. Upcoming vintage snowmobile events, and I've got some slides loaded here. We're going to look at some quick events here. So this is the Cochrane Classic Vintage Riders Club and Museum Vintage Snowmobile Show. This is happening March 13th and 14th in 2021. They're also going to have some snowmobile ice oval races. And yeah, if you can make it, by all means join them. And that is in the province of Ontario. Okay, next one. This is a slide that was sent to me. I think this is a graphic that they were still working on, but I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of a cool graphic. You see that little guy at the bottom. I think it's supposed to look like the Keep on Truckin' kind of guy. Remember those stickers from the 70s? It says Keep on Sledding, and it's got a guy kind of walking like that Keep on Truckin' guy. How many of you liked those stickers back in the day? All of those cool stickers they had in the 70s. Do you remember those stickers? They'd have that really strong chemical smell when you peel the backing off. It smelled sweet and bitter at the same time. It was kind of an interesting experience to pull the backing off those stickers. But this is the Marionville Vintage Sled Show, January 25th from 10 to 7 p.m. at the Marionville, Pennsylvania Civic Association building. And do check out that show if you get a chance. And then let's look on to the next event here. The Lancaster Snow Derby. I talked about this last week. I've been in touch with these guys. Let's look at the dates, and then they've got some more information they sent me that I'm going to read to you. But this is Lancaster Snow Derby Racing Series. They've got 4 dates in Lancaster, New Hampshire, 3 in Stratford, New Hampshire, and 1 in Lisbon, New Hampshire. Now, as a side comment, if you happen to be going to the races in Lancaster, you want to be sure and stay at none other than the Lancaster Motel. Our friends at the Lancaster Motel, just a couple of miles down the road, and the Lancaster Motel has been catering to snowmobilers since the 60s, since the very beginning. Back when they used to have the Lancaster Grand Prix, they used to have the award ceremony right there in the Lancaster Motel. And they are right on Corridor Trail 5, plenty of parking for your car, your truck, your trailer, your snowmobiles, and you come out of your door, fire up the snowmobile, and move on down the trail, and you're right down the road from Crane's Snowmobile Museum. So let's look at what they sent us here about the Lancaster Snow Derby. This is a vintage snowmobile race series that takes place in northern New Hampshire. The Derby is entering its 3rd season of vintage racing with 8 races planned this year. 4 of the races take place in Lancaster, New Hampshire, 3 in North Stratford, and 1 in Lisbon. We run over 25 race classes with a class to fit pretty much every sled from the late 60s all the way up to the year 2000. Last season, we had races with over 200 registered racers, and we are excited to see what this upcoming season brings. These races are held on a groomed snow oval track with both left and right-hand turns. This season, the Lancaster track is over a half-mile long. Racers ride everything from homemade full mod sleds to stock 250 single cylinders with classes for everything in between, including youth and popular women's classes. So do not miss that race series in northern New Hampshire. One last event to tell you about. This is an event happening in Fremont, Michigan, the Newaygo County Snow Chasers Snowmobile Club, Saturday, December the 12th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Newaygo County Fairgrounds. This is a great show. And I have to say, if you happen to be in Fremont, Michigan, this is a complete tangent and a side note, but if you're in Fremont, Michigan, be sure to visit my good friends. These are some friends of mine, some personal friends of mine that own this store, the Bedroom Center. They've got a store in Fremont and Big Rapids, Michigan. And if you go in there, make sure you tell them that Mike from Vintage Snowmobile Lovers said hello and encourage you to go over there. Here's the phone number. If you look close on that van, they have the number for the Big Rapids store and the Fremont store. These are some really good friends of mine. Visit them online at thebedroomcenter.com. You won't regret it. So what do we have next on the agenda tonight? Let me pull it up. Okay, we've got a video of Greg Doberkey's Raiders. Now, Greg Doberkey is an enthusiast of twin track snowmobiles, and he's got a YouTube channel devoted specifically to that. So if you like twin tracks, you want to visit his. Whoops, hold on here. So I'm trying to load this up manually since it wasn't firing. And thank you for your patience on this. Let me get this video queued up here, and we're going to look at these twin tracks. Again, this is from Greg Doberkey. And okay. And again, if you like this video, the link to his YouTube channel is in the description. Let's take a look at Greg Doberkey's video here.
no touch-ups or repaints, little seats. Video was taken on February 20th, 2017.
Okay, there you have it. That was those were Greg Donkey's twin track Mantas. And yes, I thank you for rolling with me on this. My program isn't firing the videos the way they're supposed to with a click of the button, so I'm having to load each one manually, which takes a minute. But thank you for rolling with me on that. This is all part of the glitz and glamour of live video. Doesn't get more exciting than this now, does it? Now the next section of the video, we're going to look at some vintage snowmobiles for sale. And if you have a vintage snowmobile for sale you'd like me to include on here, there's a link in the description. Click that link and it'll prompt you to fill in the description and load some images, and we'll put it on the screen just like this. I'll put a nice graphic on it and everything. So I put the graphic on there. So this is from David. This is from Highland, Michigan. This is a Johnson snowmobile, a 440 fresh garage find. It cleaned up very well. It's original and complete. The fuel tank is clean and dry. It may need to be gone through to be a bit of a runner. Needs to be gone through a bit to be a runner. It's purchased from the son of a former Johnson snowmobile dealer. His dad said it needed a stator. David has stators new and used. The price is $800. Contact David at 248-821-3283. That's 248-821-3283. And let's look at it from a different angle. Now, if this is going by too quickly as far as catching the phone number, not to worry. All you have to do is watch the video again a little later after the podcast is over and find this spot and pause it, and you'll be able to have the phone number right there. One last panel here with some snowmobiles. This is more of a wanted. I have a friend in Lancaster, New Hampshire. This is his want list. He wants a, if you know of a sled, of any of these sleds that he is looking for, contact him at 603-443-7272. Now, in the interest of privacy, he asked me not to include his name. So when you call and just say you're calling about the snowmobiles for sale, he'll know exactly what you're talking about and just get the conversation started from there. Now let's load up another video. These are some Polaris snowmobiles from the Goffstown, New Hampshire show. We're doing this manually since the computer is not running as well as we would like it to, so it takes me a moment to load this up. But I will have this loaded for you in just a second. Okay, cooperate, please. Okay, let me get ready to share this window here. Okay, let's take a look at these snowmobiles.
He bought it from a friend of mine. He really didn't sell it, but he let it go. And then I tore it all down, full restoration, and painted it. I like to run it and drive it and use it some. So that's all I have.
All right. Now, before we get into the next video, in fact, I'm going to try to load up that video while I'm talking to you. While I'm loading that video, I will have you note this new hat that I'm wearing. This came in today. So I'm trying to show you the hat and look at the screen at the same time here. Oh, come on now. Okay, thank you for your patience on this. I'm trying to queue up this next video, show you the hat at the same time, and talk. And I'm doing a really bad job of all three. So thanks for your patience. But yeah, check out the old logo on the hat there. Now, white was not my first choice, but the price was right. And I've got some hats with other variations on the logo and different colors hats. That'll be coming very soon. Hopefully next week I'll be able to tell you about that. And I've got these fancy schmancy mugs with the vintage. Let me try to line that up right. With the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers logo on it. So if you are liking that and want to order one, tune into the podcast next Thursday and you'll have an opportunity to do exactly that. And I've got some more cool stuff coming because once I get my logo in with that company, you can put that on a mouse pad or a mug or a shirt or a hoodie, just about anything you could possibly imagine to have this kind of logo on. So that's kind of cool. So let's load up this video. This is going to be Jim Murphy's 1971 Panther. And let's take a look.
Jim Murphy, this is my 71 Panther, actual flow with 340 JL in it. I don't know if this is the other one's that like you got. Yeah. I just bought it this way. Nice. Now, is it restored or is it original condition? Guy told me it was original. Nice. I don't know. Sure. Oh, it's the original. I took it off. It looks original to me. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Yeah, it looks original. It's a beautiful example, though. I'll give you that.
So there you have it. That is Jim Murphy's 1971 Panther, Arctic Cat Panther. Okay, so let's take a look here at what's next on the agenda. We're on item number 9. This is George Gordon is going to be inducted into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. This is an event that happened in September 19th. It happened in Lancaster, New Hampshire. And the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame has been inducting. I apologize here. I'm trying to queue up the video manually and tell you about this all at the same time. But the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame has been honoring Eastern Snowmobile racers from back in the day, and every year they have an induction ceremony. And this is from the 2020 ceremony that happened on September 19th. Let's take a quick look here. This is George Gordon being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then there's an after party after where I was able to get an interview with him. This after party happened at the Lancaster Motel.
Okay.
Whoops.
What's up?
All right. I thought I had it queued up. Now it's queued up. Let's take a look, guys. Thanks for bearing with me on this. Technical difficulties.
Okay. Let's start with our first inductee. Mr. George Gordon. George, why don't you just sit there for a minute? I'm going to read your little plaque and then I'll have you come up. George earned the 4th lowest bib number for start classes during his first year of competition, becoming season high point winner in B stock and second high point winner in A stock. He dominated every class he entered at the 1974 New England Snowmobile Open in Greenville, Maine, winning all 4 places in A stock, B stock, and C stock. George won first place in B stock at the 1974 World Series in Eagle River, Wisconsin. During the second race in 1974, George was injured in a crash, ending his bid for the 74-75 season. In his very first race back in 1975, he won 3 firsts and a second at Jackman, Maine, the very first race of the season. For the next 3 years straight, George enjoyed a perfect attendance record by never missing a single race. George had garnered over 75 trophies in just the first 3 years of racing, attaining the number 2 gold bib. His impeccable gentleman-like conduct, both on and off the track, earned George Gordon New England Sportsman of the Year Award for 1978. He grabbed 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and a third at the inaugural Grand State Open Championships in Berlin, New Hampshire in 1979. George worked tirelessly to improve racing, both as a member of the USSA New England Board of Directors and as chairman of the Safety Committee. Mr. George Gordon, please come take your flag. We'll set it right here for you. I want to start off by saying I want to thank Vintage. There we go. Vintage, Paul, Rick, Bruce, the directors of the Hall of Fame, for allowing me to be inducted into the New England Snowmobile Hall of Fame. I'm humbled to be on the wall with all the great races, and I look up to when I first started. I want to thank Rick and Eric Stone. As their father, Josh, who was the one that got me started racing in the USSA. At the time, I was racing local races in the Pickleton area, and after the races, we were at a snowmobile club, having a drink. And Rick's father, George, said, I think you should be racing in USSA. And if you want to, I own an autocat dealership, and I will sell you a race car, a race sled, and all the parts you need at my cost. He kept his word. I bought a race sled that I raced in A and B stock. My son also. Okay, what the hell was it? I raced in the USSA. If you want to, I own a dealership, and I will sell you a race sled and all the parts you need at my cost. I bought a sled that I raced in A and B stock, and my son also raced in Junior 1 and 2, and he did very well when he 1 and 2 all on the way. I'm sorry to say, Mr. Simba has passed away at a very young age. I raced snowmobiles every weekend for over 10 years. I want to tell you the best help I had was my son and John Kennedy. He went with me every weekend, and he also wanted to thank my family for putting up with me. I met a lot of great people along the way, some of which I still are friends with today. Just to say a few: Eric Similar, Bruce Horvath, the Voices, the Santises, John Hooper, Antononi, Marvin and Helen Rock, J.R. Tozier, John Merriman, Lanny Benoit, Del Garcia, Peter Olanek, Davey Avery, and his father, the legend, the Holmes family, the Usco family, and so many more. I want to give a special thanks to Samantha, I've been watching my kids when I first started racing. Thank you, Sam. The snowmobile has been a big part of my life for 45 years. I am honored to be in the Hall of Fame. Thanks again, Mitch, Paul, Rick, Bruce, and the board of directors. Awesome.
Come up here, please. I have a picture. Okay, have your wife come up.
My name is George Gordon. I'm very happy to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, Snowmobile Hall of Fame up here in Lancaster. I raced snowmobiles for probably 12 years, 13 years. Maybe 12 of them, 8 of them, I raced every race for, I never missed a race for at least 8 years in a row. And then I left it one time probably and was out for 2 years, and then I came back and raced again for another 2 years. And I was very happy. I was very, I thought I was successful at it, and I was pretty honored to be able to get into the Hall of Fame. A lot of people worked hard for me to get in there.
Yeah.
Bruce and Mitch and Paul,
Yeah.
and all of board of directors for the Hall of Fame. And I really feel humbled to be with these same people that when I first started riding snowmobiles and racing snowmobiles, I looked up to, and I never thought I would be able to be in such a position to be on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So there you have it. George Gordon has been inducted into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. And that second interview there was during the after party at the Lancaster Motel. If you're planning to go to the next induction ceremony of the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame, that is the place to stay at the Lancaster Motel. It's walking distance from Crane Snowmobile Museum, where they host the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Speaking of which, I got information just this week about the induction ceremony for this coming season. It's going to be Saturday, September the 11th, 2021, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The location will be Crane's Snowmobile Museum in Lancaster, New Hampshire. And if you're planning to drive any kind of distance to attend this, again, you want to stay just down the road at the Lancaster Motel. Now, while you're looking at that screen, I'm going to queue up the next video. I've got 2 more videos for you. This next one is going to be a tour of Crane Snowmobile Museum. You heard me talking about having the induction ceremony at Crane Snowmobile Museum. We're going to take a quick tour right now of the museum. And I thank you for bearing with me tonight. We're having some technical difficulties. These videos that I had all loaded in my software to play at the touch of a button are not playing at the touch of a button. So I have to load each one manually. And I've just about got this one loaded manually. And let's take a tour of Crane's Snowmobile Museum in Lancaster, New Hampshire.
Today on VintageSnowmobileLovers.com, we're in Lancaster, New Hampshire at Crane's Snowmobile Museum. And our good friends Midge Rosebrook and Paul Crane are just about to give us a tour of the museum. How you doing, guys? Good. Before we get started, Paul is the first person in the U.S. ever to ride a snowmobile. Do I understand that correctly?
Skidoo.
A Skidoo, okay.
Skidoo only. I wasn't the first to ride a snow machine. The first one to ride a Skidoo.
Nice.
American, and first American to ride a Skidoo.
Nice.
In Canada and here.
Excellent. Not many people can lay claim to that.
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's amazing. Awesome.
We just start down this road here.
All right.
Everybody can understand what just by looking at them, what they are. So we'll go down this road here first. end wall here, we have some of the clothing. Most of them are practically mine in the family that wore that rode things.
Nice. So these are yours from back in the day, you and your family?
A lot of them are. I would say that 80% of them are.
Nice.
And at the end here is a Scatmobile, which is rare. It's got 3 real big boom tires. It was made out in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I met the guy years ago, and he was driving a Stanley steamer up his driveway, and I told him I just picked one of those up, and I'm going to start a museum someday, and he said, I'm going to give you something, young man, something that nobody has. My first sign that was put on the factory. And it's a plywood sign. It's a little rough, but I was going to cut the bottom part off or it's rotten, but I just figured it lose the value of it.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, that is awesome. That's quite a gift to receive.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Cool.
And I got patches on the back wall.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Patches on the back wall.
And see if I can get a little closer on
And up on the rack over here, we get some of the small snow machines.
I remember the kitty cat from back in the day.
Yeah. And we got the 1926 Model T Snowmobile, which is a foot narrower than the average snowmobile. And if you look at the running board, it says Snowmobile right on it.
Really?
Which is rare.
Right here on the stem. Wow. So what year was this called? You said 1920 something?
1926 is the plate.
Oh, yes, yeah. Wow.
I usually get rides when the snow's deep. I haven't done it this year yet, but I will be.
Nice. There's some more mini sleds up top.
On the top. And over in the corner here, we have some more mini snows plus a couple old sleighs.
Nice. And then these are some of the early mass-produced ski-doos.
This is a 61 Skidoo with the wooden skis. This is a 61 Skidoo with the replaceable steel skis because the wooden ones would go up in the field and we'd break them.
Huh. Wow. Now that first sled that you rode, was it similar to this one or was it just like this one?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was a 1960.
1960, okay.
I have one, but I haven't got it over here yet.
Okay.
1960. Skidoo Elite. I sold those, and they sold in 1995.
Really? Wow.
That one has got 200 and something miles on it.
Unreal. That's a nice shape. And I think they stopped making those in what, 2005 or something?
They started in 2004, 5, I think they made a silver one.
Yeah. A much more modern looking one. Was that the last year, do you know?
Yeah.
It was, okay. I like that TNT. The old silver. Oh, yeah, yeah. Now, I see a shift lever on that. Did that have reverse?
Yes, reverse.
Nice. So did it have like a low gear for?
No, it's just
Just a reverse, okay.
It's mint. Only got 200 and something miles on it.
Nice. A buddy of mine growing up had a silver bullet like that.
motor ski,
Wow.
which they didn't make very many of them. Then a 65 motor ski. Then a racing motor ski, which is a 64. And then this here was a 500 racing sled. Apparently, so I've been told, the factory had it. Motor ski factory had it.
Wow. That's cool.
And then there's that, which is all original.
Wow, 1970, huh? I remember these Noviks back in the day. My father's friend had one just like that.
Yeah. Pink motor ski was made from a friend of mine for his daughter.
Wow. That is cool. We don't see those every day. Got some ski spreaders on there too.
Yeah.
Keep it stable.
His daughter wanted it pink.
Nice.
This here is the rear 340 motor ski bullet.
Wow.
And the 340 Sonic. Supersonic. Pro sled. Then the racing Northway. They only made 21 of them.
21. Wow. That's a real big hood. Does that mean there's a real big engine underneath? Or?
It's a
440,
440.
yeah. Nice. And this racing cat.
Then 76 Snow Pro.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of the cooler looking sleds ever to be on the snow, I think.
And then the Husky.
Yes, yeah.
Of course, the RV, Steel RV that they raced in 75.
Nice. Those are awesome.
And the Snow Cruiser, which was a repeat of 500, which, as far as I know, there's only 4 of those in existence.
4 of those. Wow. That's amazing.
There's one in New Brunswick, I understand. I've seen that one. And I understand there's one up in Peterborough where they came from. I don't know if the one's still in New Jersey or not, but there was one down there.
Nice. We had one like this when I was a kid. It was a consumer model loading off a Starfire. That was fast. Even the consumer model, the 250, was really fast.
Okay, we have just visited Crane's Snowmobile Museum in Lancaster, New Hampshire. That's quite a place. That really is. If you're planning to go out there to take a look, it's in Lancaster, New Hampshire, and the place to stay is the Lancaster Motel. You can plan a weekend, make a weekend of it, bring your sleds up there, or they have a local dealer they work with that can rent you a sled if you don't want to tow your sled all the way up there. Stay at the Lancaster Motel, take in the Crane Snowmobile Museum, and have yourself a great time. Now, I've got one more video here I'm going to queue up for you. Just takes a moment because we're doing this.
My name is Donald Tibbetts.
Oh, come on.
I'm from Vermont, and I go around to
Sorry about that. I have to queue these up manually because my software program that's supposed to do it at the click of a button is not doing it at the click of a button. So I have to load each one manually, and it's a little tricky. So I thank you for your patience on that. I'm getting this video loaded up here. This is a good friend of mine, Donald Tibbetts. He's got an impressive collection of sleds. I see him at most of the shows, and if you go to any of the Northern New England shows, he's at most of them, exhibiting his sleds, and he's got a really nice collection. Let's take a look.
My name is Donald Tibbetts from Lunenburg, Vermont, and I've got a bunch of old machines that I think I show occasionally. And I got 4 of them here today. An Owlette, I know. My son's machine is a 95 E-Land, next to the last year that they made the E-Land. I know. And I've got a 73 Arctic Cat. Mine are all original and restored. And that's the way I like to have them.
Yeah.
When you compete with restored machines, you're competing with machines that are a lot of times better than they ever left the factory. When you compete with the in the restored classes, you're competing with the big boys.
Yeah.
My name is Don Tibbetts from Lunenburg, Vermont, and I've got a bunch of old.
All righty, that was Don Tibbetts and his very impressive collection of vintage snowmobiles. That was at Crane's Snowmobile show just this past February. So we're about to close out the program here. Before we do, I wanted to just give a shout out to a few of our friends and associates. Number one would be the Lancaster Motel. That's the place to stay. If you're planning to do any kind of Eastern riding, they're right on the trail and they're within walking distance of Crane Snowmobile Museum, which we've been seeing a lot of tonight. Book a weekend or a week up there and plan to walk over to the museum during your stay. It's just a few hundred yards away. Also wanted to give a shout out to our friends at the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Their next induction ceremony will be Saturday, September 11th, 2021, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Location will be at Crane's Snowmobile Museum in Lancaster, New Hampshire. And again, if you're planning to attend, be sure and stay at the Lancaster Motel. Want to also say a shout out to our friends at Crane Snowmobile Museum. Their number is on the screen, as is their web address, and a link in the description of this video. And last but not least, our friends at the New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum. That museum is at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire, not too far from Concord, New Hampshire. Their website is New Hampshire. It's nhsnowmobilemuseum.com. That's a great museum. Contact them either by phone or on their website to arrange a visit. So I thank you very much for watching tonight. I thank you also for bearing with me with the technical difficulties that we were having. We managed to get through it with a few extra clicks of the mouse, but we did it. So thank you so much, and we will catch you at the same time next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Vintage Snowmobile Lovers. And thanks again for watching.